Saya mendayung kali dayung 2-3 pulau terlampaui.
Biasanya tahu gini-gini. Orang mana ada upah. Surf with style, surf with smile.
Currently, the world has been greatly changed because of the pandemic COVID-19. This pandemic has forced human beings to decrease their movement and stay at home. The situation also impacting the world of education, where the teaching and learning cannot be conducted at school or campus to prevent the spreading of COVID-19. However, thanks to the advancement of technology that enable people to stay connected, now teaching and learning process can be done online. UPH Master of Tourism provide the hybrid learning method that enables students to keep on learning during this situation. This method also helps those who want to further their education while pursuing their career. Join us.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you this afternoon? I certainly hope that you are all safe and well. Welcome to today's masterclass. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Anugrah Agung Putranto, and I will be your MC for today. And today's masterclass has been made possible by the collaboration of Pelita Harapan School of Hospitality and Tourism together with Taylor's University, Malaysia. During this masterclass, we will discuss a topic on how to write your PhD proposal and research trends in hospitality. So for those of you who are maybe struggling, in need of help, or even just still thinking about starting your PhD proposal, today's masterclass will be certainly worthy of your attention. And to discuss on this topic, we are very excited to welcome Dr. Joaquim Miguel Diaz-Soero, as the head of School of Hospitality, Tourism and Events at Taylor's University, Malaysia, and Dr. Shantini Turaiselvam as a lecturer at the School of Hospitality, Tourism and Events at Taylor's University, Malaysia. Surely we are all impatient in starting today's masterclass. However, to keep an orderly proceeding, I will be stating some rules to follow during the masterclass. Firstly, attendees are required to write their names according to their ID, so that the committee will be able to distribute the certificate that will be given at the end of today's masterclass. Secondly, in order to avoid any disturbances, attendees are required to mute their microphones during today's proceedings. Thirdly, should any attendees have any questions, please do fill in the Google Forms that will be given in the Zoom chat column. And lastly, please turn on your cameras during the photo session and prepare your best smile as a form of memento from today's masterclass. And with that, I would like to thank you for your attention and cooperation. All right, let's start today's masterclass by listening to an opening remark from the Dean of Pelita Harapan School of Hospitality and Tourism, Dr. Dina Mutiara Lemi, APAR MMCHE. Let's give a big round of virtual applause. And Dina, the stage is yours, ma'am.
Okay, good evening, everyone, to all participants here. Thank you very much for your attendance because this event is conducted in the evening, but this is very good for our friends, participants who are having their Ramadan fasting, because this event will give a very good good activities while they are waiting for a break their fasting. But aside from that, yeah, I would like to thank and welcome uh, the two great speakers from Taylor's University. First, we welcome Dr. Joachim. Thank you so much that we have this opportunity to have uh, an event, a workshop about writing an academic dissertation, yeah, for PhD, and also uh, giving us insights about the trends of research in hospitality and tourism industry. And I also welcome and thank Dr. Shantini, because she's going to be our main speaker this evening. Thank you so much, Dr. Shantini. We are very looking forward to the enrichment of knowledge about how to write, yeah, how to write a good or even the best, yeah, the best uh, PhD dissertation. Yeah, and I believe all of the participants that come today, yeah, they come with enthusiasm, yeah, and up until now we already have 88 participants. Yeah, this is really above our expectation. So we are very happy that this very good opportunity, yeah, can be heard by many people, and hopefully after this, all of us that have problems, needs inspirations, yeah, for writing a dissertation or making a research in hospitality and tourism industry can get ideas and insights. I would also thanks to Ibu Ina, yeah, for introducing us to Taylor's University. Hopefully, this is going to be a start of a great collaboration between Universitas Pelita Harapan School of Hospitality and Tourism and Taylor's University, Malaysia. So, without further ado, I welcome the two speakers, Dr. Joachim and Dr. Shantini. And I also greet all of the participants. Let's make the best of this session, so all of us can be enriched in our knowledge. Thank you so much. I'll give back the stage to the MC.
Let's give another big round of virtual applause for Memdina. Thank you, Memdina. All right, continuing on with the proceedings. And now, without further ado, with a cheerful round of applause, let's invite the moderator for today's masterclass. That is Ma'am Sandra Maliaki, SPD MA.
Good evening, respected ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this virtual masterclass. This is the collaboration between Taylor's University as well as Universitas Pelita Harapan. And it's very delightful to see the same major collaborate together. And I'm very honored to be a moderator for this masterclass today. And with pride and joy, let me start to introduce to the distinguished speakers. The first one is the head of School of Hospitality, Tourism and Event from Taylor's University, Dr. Joachim Miguel Diaz-Reiro. And he's experienced diverse positions since 2007 within the Faculty of Social Sciences and Leisure Management, Taylor Universities, and employed as F&B Wine Studies lecturers. He occupied the position of Program Director, Associate Dean for Learning and Quality, and Head of Operations and Professional Studies before handling his role as Head of the School of Hospitality, Tourism and Events. For the short, we can call the SHTE. Am I right, Dr. Joachim? Yes, and he's also certified sommelier by the Court of Master Sommelier and holds an advanced level WSET wine certification. And also, he delivers Wine and Spirits Education Trust of London, WSET program under the school since 2008. He's also trained the trainer, Triple T certified in Hotel Industry Analytics, CHIA, and Certified Hospitality Educator, CHE, by the American Hospitality, Lodging, and Education Institute. And then Dr. Joachim holds a Bachelor of Tourism, Hospitality and Leisure Activities from Toulouse University, Jean Jaurès in France, and a Master of Social Sciences and Humanities, major in Tourism, Hospitality, and Food Studies, also from Toulouse University. And he got his Doctor of Philosophy, Ph.D. in Hospitality and Tourism by exploring the social, cultural, and educational transformations of a learner while taking wine studies in the context of non-wine producing environment. So Dr. Joachim is very well-seasoned hotelier, I guess. Yes, thank you. And then the next distinguished speaker is very excellent lady here, Dr. Shantini Turaiselvam. Dr. Shantini Turaiselvam, PhD in Business, CHIA, and also CVP, is a program director for PG, stands for postgraduate programs at the School of Hospitality, Tourism, and Events at Taylor's University. She obtained her PhD in Business with Taylor's University, Master's in Finance from RMIT in Melbourne, Australia, and a double bachelor degree in Accounting, Finance, and Economics from Essex University, UK. She has over 20 years of work experience in the public and private sectors in Malaysia. And throughout her career, she has been involved in the hotel industry, banking sector, and field of education. A self-confessed data analysis nerd, Shantini's areas of interest and research include revenue management, financial planning, investment planning, and retirement planning. I think it suits me, retirement planning. She acquired her certification in Hotel Industry Analytics, CHIA, in 2015 and became an authorized instructor in 2019. In managing the PG programs for SHTE, she has reviewed many research proposals, attended proposal defenses, and FIFA forces. Indeed, a research proposal is the first step in the PhD journey and recommends the scholars should research their area of interest to fill the knowledge gaps. Welcome, Dr. Shantini. Thank you for being the speaker. Let's give both of them a round of applause. Yes. So for now, we will listen to Dr. Joachim to introduce the program at School of Hospitality and Tourism and Events, as well as, to get to know better about the institution. Time and place is yours, Dr. Joachim.
All right, thank you very much. While I'm sharing this screen right now, suddenly I lost the vision. Sorry.
Okay.
So you can see my screen right now, right?
Yes, clearly.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So let me start then with a quick introduction of the school, and then we will be following up with the diversification of potential topics that could be taken in the field of hospitality, tourism, and events, and also how to write the best. I'm not so sure, but how to write a proposal, so at least to be accepted generally in any type of universities. So today will be myself and Dr. Shantini. All right, so both of us will be sharing this time. And just to introduce a bit more on the education group, okay, who we are. The school is a member of the Taylor's University, okay, which is part of the Taylor's education group, right? So the school is here and being part of the Faculty of Social Sciences and Leisure Management, and this is where the school is. So when we talk about expertise and when we talk about experiences, we dedicate ourselves in the world of hospitality, tourism, and events. And anytime we do have needs at the culinary side, history, education, or communication, social sciences. So this is where we get multiple expertise within the faculty, or it can be across faculty. So for example, bioscience and tourism and events. It could be business, marketing, and hospitality and tourism. So we do have all those kind of profile under the university, and also as I would say application when it's time to come to postgraduate studies and mostly PhD. So what we are and who we are is working hard, okay, not to be the best, okay. What we aim to do is to do as much as we can for the benefit of the learners. And through our network, through our quality of education, through our alumni network, through our linkage with the industry, partnership with diverse entities across Southeast Asia, Asia, and Europe and America. So this is where we do have a very big network across the globe. And I believe you may know about the QS ranking. So in these particular subjects of hospitality and leisure management, so this is where we have been at the top 20 in the world for the past few years. We started 21 and 29, and then we went down to 14, 16, 17. And this is where the competition is very high and the challenges are very high. So it's a great news that we got just last month, okay, that we maintain our top 20. And this were ranking us as second in Asia and then the first in Malaysia. So we were very well praised by the Ministry of Education for being the only university in the whole Malaysia to be in the top 20 across the different subjects in the entire country. Right, so yeah, very proud and a lot of support, right, from local governments and as a private institution is very good. As institution, I was saying we are recognized to have a big network and to be well known for our quality. And so not only the QS, but also through our programs that we are offering at Telos, that we do have this exchange programs. We do have expansions from the different level of programs. We do have certifications or accreditations, right? So not only from ministries, but also recognized worldwide. For example, the UN WTO TEDQual is one of them. And we do have a lot of work being done and well recognized also for our employability, which is very, very good. So these are the key milestones. We started a long time ago with this etc. that really portray our school at the highest level in Malaysia, okay, because the 6-star is the highest level that any discipline can get. And hospitality and tourism and the Telos University School of Hospitality, Tourism and Events is the only institution in the entire country that actually got a 6-star. Then we went into the UNWTO affiliate number, and then you can see that we managed to get the certified TEDQual. Right, so it's a high quality accreditation, okay, that we just went through a re-accreditation process just last week. And so throughout the QS ranking, so we travel, right, so 21, then 14, then 16, 17. And we have this 2 years ago on the APM, right, the Asia Pacific Institute for Events Management. So we got the international status of International Center of Excellence, 4 stars, which is very good, and aiming to reach the 5-star. But for that, we need to bring more research outcome, which we are currently doing for the past few years. So these are the main achievements summary. Explain a bit more on who we are in terms of student profiling, mostly on female, majority of undergrad, with a very fast growing number of PhD and masters. And you can see that the school is mainly international, and as per the data I got today, is 76% So it's very international. And when we look at the top 10 nationalities, so the biggest population in the school is actually students from China. The second biggest are students from Malaysia, and then Indonesia. Right? So this is where we do have a wide variety of students, and you can see in the map they come from all over the world. So very happy with that. Profiling, so same to grow in the postgraduate world, then we need to grow in terms of internationalization and then profile of our lecturers with an increasing number of PhD and professors. So joining the postgraduate program helps also. So anyone will be benefiting from the expertise from those professors and doctors. And we all have all our different expertise. So then we can diversify the different needs, right? So it can be, so it's always related to hospitality, tourism, and events, but then you can have a secondary field in education, like my PhD, for example, in business, in marketing, in anything, right? It can be very, very wide. For this, Dr. Chantini will be explaining further later on. So we do provide, while huge diversity in terms of teaching and opportunities. And we do have also an increase of publication in high impact journals. With last year, the highest number of publication in Q1, Q2, which is the highest level of publication, right, in Scopus Journal, which is very excellent. Right, so this entitled us to be also part of the Shanghai ranking last year, to be one of the top 200 universities. Right, so it was a very good thing also. I was telling you about our network, right? So how big we are across the globe, being affiliated to a lot of different brands. It helps our students to grow in the industry and benefit from the industry, and we benefit from the industry by providing consultancy, research, and so on. So a lot of things. This is about the mobility, so sharing a small thing on the program, what we are offering. All right, so our main focus is undergrad and postgrad, and this is where we are seizing the 2 diploma programs to have a full focus on undergrad, and then going for the master's degree. So we have 2 master's degree, one by coursework, which is the Masters of International Hospitality Management, and the other one by research, which is a Master of Science in Tourism. And our doctoral degree, so we have Dr. Chantini is the program director of the master degree and the doctoral degree programs. So Doctor of Philosophy for Hospitality and Tourism, actually the 3 program under lead under the school, right? So while I was talking about what do we do, how much we can do and how much we can help for conferences, talks, forums. So we try to be engaged, is we engage, and we do our best to really do as much as we can with the industry, within the industry, and within the research area. So for example, conducted some talks or forums when the pandemic started, right? So then addressing what kind of impact, and we grow with whatever is happening. So for example, here we were in March 2020 talking about how it's going to disrupt the hospitality and tourism industry. So we have numerous of different panels from the industry and academics, and they share their view. And this is where a new topic can come in, a new trend can start. And this is attending these kind of talks, conferences, help anyone actually to have some ideas to start a PhD or to start a research. And this one was in March, this one is in November. So November is when talking about vaccine was coming soon, and a lot of things were discovered. So then what were the outlook for 2021, how things will change or not, what will be different, what will be the same than 2020. So we have this evolution in time and follow up on topics, right? And we don't only do hospitality, we do have also, this one was hospitality and tourism management, a virtual conference, and this one is on events management, right? So we really put all our focus and emphasis on hospitality, tourism, and events. This is what we do. And this is another example. So how our postgraduate student can benefit from the expertise of our associates, right? So can be adjunct professors or visiting professors. And this is where they get a lot of insights and sometimes information for their own study. Right, so this one was talking about the paradigm shift, right, on the global tourism. This one was on the opportunities and crisis, okay, of the impact of COVID on the tourism. Right, so same thing, a lot of different profile. Okay, so you see Prof. Bohm here, Prof. Sridhar here, Anna Pearson from the Pierre Anderson. So and, that too. Yes, right. So this one is local. You see, all this panel is truly international. We have Datu Sri, right, the Secretary General of ATRA, and so we try to diversify all the different profile. Why is to enrich all the different type of webinars, all the different type of knowledge that's being shared. If you start a PhD journey, you will see that your main objective is actually to create a knowledge, or to make a knowledge visible. And this is the most important thing in the PhD. But to achieve that, there is the whole reflection process to achieve that level. So this is just an introduction of the school, what we do, and what we have done. In terms of what we are planning to do is really to boost and increase our potential in research. We have a research center at the university and under the faculty and under the school, and the Center for Tourism Research, okay, is actively involved in the different SDGs. Recently, Dr. Chantini, myself, we all got involved into grants applications. This is where the research center really help us to push and try to get some grants, right? Because when you get grants, then this is where you can expose your research opportunities, and this is where we can get some scholarship even for PhD students. So yeah. So this is just an introduction of the school. I believe there will be much more questions and much more relevancies in what Dr. Chantini will be sharing. But please feel free to ask any question about the school either now or later. There's a chat room, okay, so you can share anything you want over there. Right, so thank you very much for listening to me. I believe I'm within the time given, so it should be fine. So now it should be Dr. Chantini's turn to share inputs. Right, so I should have started like that, but thank you very much for inviting us. Yeah, sometimes happen to me. I do things upside down. Thank you so much to UPH for inviting us. Very happy with the number of participants. The more participants there are, the more questions we can have, okay, and the more interactive the session can be. What we don't want is to have a one-way discussion. We always want two-way communication, so then it's more interesting for those who are listening than those who are talking. So yes, Dr. Diana, thank you so much for your introduction and inviting us. Ms. Sandra,
yes,
Pleasure.
All right.
I give back the talk to you. And
yes, the pleasure is ours, Dr. Joachim. Thank you so much for the introduction, and what a great achievement that has been achieved by your SHT. Yes, and I do agree with your statement that if you start your PhD journey, the main purpose is to create the knowledge. Yes, so let us give round of applause first to Dr. Joachim. And now the main event is to listen to Dr. Chantini on how to write your PhD proposal and research trends in hospitality. The time and stage is yours, Dr. Chantini.
Thank you, Ms. Sandra. Allow me to share my screen. Hello and good afternoon. Thank you so much for the invitation from UPE to present on this topic, how to write a research proposal. So I'm speaking to you not just as a program director from the postgraduate programs, but also a little bit as a PhD scholar myself. You know, everyone has a PhD journey that is very different. No one's journey is the same. So I hope I'm able to share a little bit on how to write a research proposal. Okay, starting with so normally when you're looking at writing a research proposal, you should be able to present your idea or question and expected outcomes with clarity and definition. So this answers the what of your proposal, right? The next point is the why, isn't it? It should also make a case for why your question is significant and what value your research will bring to your discipline. The next most important thing would be your proposed title. Now, we always use the word proposed because your title is never finalized until you most likely submit your thesis. So every time we refer to title, we always say proposed title because your title can undergo many changes as your study or your research keeps progressing. I myself, I think, had about 3 title changes before the end. So not a problem. You're only talking about a proposed title. So your title should clearly indicate what your proposed research is about. So titles normally will include features such as your focus area, right? You can also include a key variable, right, in your title. You can also name your respondents as well as location of your research. So I have some sample titles here for you. So these are real titles. These are real titles that I've picked up. So for example, you can see from the first title, from farm to the tourist table, exploring the applications of farm to table concept in tourism industry in the Philippines. So you can see in this title, the location is mentioned, right? The concept of farm to table is being explored so that the researcher, you have some kind of focus as well, right? In your research, it also helps to narrow what you are researching. If we look at the next title, determinants of sustainable competitive advantage in the hotel industry in Malaysia. So we can tell that the researcher is looking at determinants, right? What are the determinants for? They are for sustainable competitive advantage. Which industry? Hotel industry. Where? In Malaysia, right? The next one is antecedents and consequences of financial behavioral intention among Malaysian working adults in the Klang Valley, Malaysia. So we have a number of things here. So we know the research direction is looking at antecedents and consequences of what? Of financial behavioral intention. Of whom? So the respondents here we know should be Malaysian working adults and the where in the Klang Valley, Malaysia. So these are some of the common questions that the examiners will ask you. You know, let's say, for example, if you're in Indonesia and then they will say, are you going to research all of Indonesia, right? From west to east? Okay, on that, where is the context of your research? The last one, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, an ethnographic study on their food choices and tourism behavior. So straight away, we know this is going to be a study on the Hare Rama, Hare Krishna group, right? What is the methodology being used is the ethnographic study. So we know that the researcher is going to be staying with this group of people. What is the researcher investigating? Their food choices and tourism behavior. So your title is actually very informative. It doesn't mean longer the better. So this is not a competition to see who has the longest title. So it's just that your title has to be informative. Now, there are some thoughts about putting in the theory into the title as well, but that used to be the fashion, I suppose, you know, the trend some time ago, but now it's not necessary. Sometimes you see titles that says using, right, the theory of pen behavior or using the technology acceptance model, but some of the newer titles don't include the framework. So coming to the proposal writing. So we've got our title, right? We want to write a proposal. Let's look at the why. So the why here will cover the aims and the objectives. So in the aim, what are you trying to achieve with your research? What is the purpose? So this section should reference why you are applying for this research degree. Are you addressing a gap in the current research? Do you want to look at a theory more closely and test it out in the context that you are looking at? Is there something you are trying to prove or disprove? So to help you clarify this, think about the potential outcome of your research if you were successful. That is your aim, and make sure that this is a focus statement. Next would be the objective, right? So your objectives will be your aims broken down, the steps to achieving the intended outcome. Now, there are smaller points that will underpin your research purpose. So you should list about 3 to 4 research objectives from your aims. Now, looking at the background of the research, right? Why this area of research? So here you need to show an understanding of the current research environment in your area of research. So what you have, or reasons why that you have chosen this particular area. What are the current problems faced in this area that your research could solve? So in this case, you are providing the context around your research topic through a thorough research, through a thorough literature review. Next, we go on to the component, which is the expected research contribution. This is the very famous so what, right? So what are you doing? Or what do you expect to come from your research? In this section, you can show both your current level of knowledge and how the pursuit of your research question or hypothesis will create a new understanding and generate new information. So in this area, what you should consider, why is your research question worth asking? Why is your hypothesis worth investigating? How is your current research lacking, right? So the current research is lacking, or is it falling short, right? In other words, the gap. Will you be extending an area of knowledge, applying it to new contexts, solving a problem, testing a theory, or challenging an existing one? What will be the outcome of your research contribution? Show how your research is innovative and original. You can also draw links between your research and the university and show how your research will benefit and contribute to the current body of knowledge, right? So every time you are thinking of exploring a certain area of your research, ask yourself, so what? Because this is the question that my own supervisor had asked me many times, just to share with you. Next is the methodology. Again, we refer to it as proposed methodology, right? Because methodology also can change. But when you're writing your proposal, you should have some idea, right? You could provide an overview of the methodology and techniques that you will use to conduct your research. You should also cover what materials, equipment, or software you will use, what theoretical frameworks you will draw on, and how you will collect the data. Here you may also highlight who your respondents will be, all right, or how you intend to look for your respondents if you need to. Highlight why you have chosen this particular methodology and if you are open to explore other or different methodologies that will help you conduct your research. So there is no hard and fast rule regarding quantitative and or right qualitative study or even mixed methodology. Nowadays, with the internet and so many different types of software, we are quite open to a number of not just methodology, but also different software or data collection tools that you can use. Lastly will be your bibliography or references. So you should provide a list of references. We typically use the APA format that you have made throughout your research proposal. And be wary of plagiarism. Most of us do not intend to plagiarize. So all universities have strict guidelines regarding plagiarizing the work of others. So make sure that you have properly cited and referenced the literature that you are using. So here's a little, glimpse into the research trends in hospitality and tourism. So normally if you receive, a number of proposals in this area, so what I've generally done is, if we look at, say, the concept of technology. So technology is here. We have augmented reality, virtual reality. We have contactless schemes in hotels. We have iPad controls in rooms, even robot service. So you can actually investigate any one of these in hospitality context, even in a restaurant context, or for events, isn't it? For event management. Then we've got under human resource or human capital development, there are topics on reskilling older employees, right? How they can have multi-skilling as well. The other interesting topic here, or trending topic, is retaining millennials in the service industry. So if you were born in the year 2000, you would be about 21 years old now, right? Coming into the industry. How do we retain these talents? Because they have grown up in a different generation. Next would be the crisis and risk management. So let's say you are doing, or you want to do the topic on COVID-19. So you need to manage your time here. So your PhD studies could be a minimum of 3 years, right? Maximum 6 to 8 years. Your topic needs to be, how do I say this? Topical, it cannot go out of date. So that's why we say crisis management rather than just focusing on the pandemic. Of course, the pandemic itself is a form of crisis. So what has come out of this? Hotels or businesses have had to become a bit more innovative. They are advertising staycations, right, and domestic travel. Then comes the sharing economy. So sharing economy is a particularly new trend as well, with the homestays, right, contributions, your Airbnb. You can talk about the sharing platform as well. Social media again has brought about a whole new area of research. We have seen research on OTA is your online travel agents, right? Online travel agents reviews, right? How do reviews affect the business? YouTube as well has contributed. I think I should have put TikTok as well, right? TikTok is the latest. Everyone watching on TikTok videos, how hospitality and tourism can utilize the social media platform. Dr. Joachim earlier mentioned education, right? In fact, after he mentioned it, I quickly wrote it down as well. So higher education in hospitality and tourism, you can explore how higher education can help reskilling, right? Skills training, and giving the professional qualifications, right? They can use in the industry. Of course, this is just a glimpse. Lastly, of course, we have environmental conservation. How can the hospitality and tourism industry contribute to the UN Sustainable Development Goals? So there are many areas where tourism can contribute in terms of poverty elevation, right? In terms of education, in terms of conservation. I think if you just Google that itself, you can find so many topics. But the most important part of the topic is it's you. It's your passion and your commitment and your interest in whatever topic that you want to do. Okay, so thank you. Thank you for your time.
All
I
right.
hope I've been able to share enough to help you on your journey.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Syantini. It's
Thank
very
you.
applicable for the lecturers as well as for the students, because sometimes we need to, to find out the topic which is relatable, which is now and trendy, like TikTok. Perhaps you can follow our TikTok account, our faculty TikTok account. Yeah, so let us give one more applause for Dr. Syantini. which is very, very good, very clear.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes. So now let's listen to Ibu Ina Haryani. She would like to deliver the general presentation for Taylor's University. Time and stage is yours, Bu Ina.
Oke, terima kasih Bu Sandra.
Sama-sama.
So just a question, so sorry. Will we take the Q&A after the presentation of Ms. Ina?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
And then we take Q&A, and then I will give you conclusion of.
Okay, all right.
All right, Dr. Joachim.
All right, thank you so much. I listen to Ms. Ina.
Yes.
Alright, oke. Terima kasih Ibu Sandra. Terima kasih juga untuk semua tim dari UPH. Terima kasih juga untuk teman-teman yang sudah hadir dan join untuk berpartisipasi di acara webinar bersama Taylor's dan Universitas Pelita Harapan. Oke, saya dengan Ina. Hari ini saya akan mempresentasikan berikan informasi sedikit ya mengenai general fasilitas, mengenai kampus Taylor's seperti apa, dan juga sedikit history tentang Taylor's University. Oke, sebelum kita mulai, saya akan putarkan dulu video mengenai kampus Taylor's University.
Welcome to Taylor's University.
Oke, ini adalah kampus Taylor. Lokasi kita ada tepatnya di Kuala Lumpur, di Selangor, Subang Jaya. Jika lihat dari sini, untuk luas kampus kita sendiri, luasnya cukup besar, yaitu sekitar 27 hektar. Nah, berikut ini adalah beberapa fasilitas yang dimiliki oleh kampus kami. Kita memiliki seperti fotografi studio. Kita juga memiliki lab untuk setiap program yang ada di Taylor. Ini adalah carpentry studio untuk anak-anak desain. Kita memiliki TV studio juga. Ini adalah salah satu fasilitas untuk anak-anak hospitality, culinary. Kita memiliki dua akomodasi on campus, room resident, dan youth hotel. Ini adalah wine laboratory untuk anak-anak hospitality. Kita memiliki 13 culinary suite, dan juga 9 restoran yang berstandar internasional yang berada di dalam kampus. Ini adalah walking room untuk fakultas hukum. Kita memiliki 4 lantai library yang mana semuanya sudah masuk ke dalam online library. Ini adalah salah satu fasilitas untuk residen kita. Ini adalah residen. Ini adalah program kulinologi yang mana di dunia sendiri, di Asia sendiri itu hanya Taylor yang memilikinya. Jadi di dunia hanya ada beberapa, salah satunya ada Taylor. Kita juga memiliki beberapa klub untuk siswa-siswa yang menyukai ekstrakurikuler. Ini adalah salah satu fasilitas kita ada swimming pool, kita ada untuk gym, fitness center, kita juga ada lapangan futsal. Beliau adalah Profesor Michael Briscoe, beliau adalah Vice Chancellor kita, berkeluarga negaraan dari Inggris United Kingdom.
By our high-impact, internationally recognized research, our growing reputation for both teaching and research is placing Taylor's on course to become one of Asia's elite universities.
Ya, demikian tadi ada sekilas informasi mengenai kampus Taylor seperti apa. Oke, untuk Taylor sendiri, usia kita kurang lebih sudah mencapai 51 tahun. Jadi sudah usia yang cukup matang di dunia education itu sendiri. Yang mana Taylor sendiri, kita awalnya itu berasal dari Taylor College yang berada di Melbourne, Australia. Pada tahun 1969, kita membuka, Taylor College membuka cabang di Malaysia, dan akhirnya sampai sekarang ini, kepemilikannya sudah menjadi sepenuhnya milik Malaysia. Ini adalah Lakeside Campus, ini kampus terbaru Taylor, kita menyebutnya Lakeside Campus, yang berada di Jalan Taylor. Oke, untuk international student population, di Taylor sendiri kita memiliki kurang lebih 3.050 international student, yang mana berasal dari 80 negara, yang mana untuk total studentnya itu sekitar 12.000 lebih. Oke, ini adalah salah satu kebanggaan yang dirasakan karena tahun kemarin kita sudah menduduki posisi untuk peringkat di Asia berdasarkan QS ranking, yaitu Taylor mendapatkan posisi 89 di Asia. Untuk private university sendiri, kita mendapatkan posisi nomor 1 sebagai private university terbaik di Malaysia dan juga Southeast Asia. Berikut adalah recognition dan award yang dimiliki oleh Taylor. Salah satunya adalah untuk online learning, kita sudah mendapatkan bintang 5 berdasarkan QS rating system, yang mana selain itu kita juga memiliki beberapa award dari government, yaitu kita sudah memiliki bintang 5 setara, yang mana kalau di Indonesia itu setara dengan terbaik, yaitu kampus dengan akreditasi A. Nah, untuk hospitality sendiri bahkan kita memiliki di atas bintang 5, yaitu sudah bintang 6. Ini adalah sudah di atas dari yang terbaik. Oke, beberapa award lagi yang kita miliki adalah kita memiliki award dari Putra Brand Award, dan ini adalah Platinum Med of Your Grade. Ini adalah salah satu ajang paling bergengsi di Malaysia, yang mana Taylor pernah menduduki sebagai mendapatkan gold medal winner-nya selama 10 tahun, dari 2010 sampai dengan 2019. Oke, berikut ini adalah industri partner yang dimiliki oleh Taylor, yang mana Taylor merupakan universitas di Malaysia yang memiliki network dengan industrinya terkuat. Kita memiliki kurang lebih 500 industri partner yang bekerja sama dengan Taylor University. Ini adalah beberapa di antaranya. Oke, sekarang ini saya sampaikan video mengenai fasilitas e-learning yang ada di Taylor. Inilah mengapa akhirnya Taylor mendapatkan bintang 5 dari QS rating system. Oke, untuk fasilitas e-learning sendiri, pada dasarnya Taylor sudah menggunakan e-learning itu kurang lebih dari 10 tahun yang lalu. Jadi Taylor sudah menggunakan e-learning dari jauh-jauh hari sebelum adanya pandemik. Di Taylor sendiri program pembelajaran sudah melakukan hybridnya, jadi antara face-to-face menggabungkan dengan juga e-learning. E-learning yang kami miliki itu sangat komprehensif, jadi tidak ada bedanya dengan kelas, hanya yang berbeda hanya student melakukannya bisa di mana saja, anywhere and everywhere. Oke, kita memiliki yang namanya pages juga kita ada e-library, karena semua buku-buku yang dimiliki oleh Taylor semua sudah dimasukkan ke dalam e-library. Kita juga ada whiteboard, ini biasanya digunakan untuk guru atau dosen yang memerlukan whiteboard. Kita juga ada virtual lab, ini biasanya untuk kelas-kelas yang membutuhkan untuk praktek lab seperti kelas-kelas sains. Oke, selain fasilitas e-learning, kita juga memiliki fasilitas rewind system, lecture capture. Oke, ini sangat menarik karena fasilitas ini di Malaysia, di kampus Malaysia sendiri itu hanya Taylor yang menggunakannya. Untuk kampus lain, kita belum ada yang menggunakannya. Seperti apa sih proses untuk rewind system ini? Oke, fungsi daripada rewind system ini adalah untuk memudahkan siswa mempelajari kembali materi-materi yang diberikan pada saat lecture class, seperti itu. Jadi prosesnya adalah di kelas pada saat guru mengajar, semua pelajaran dan juga pada saat guru berbicara itu langsung direkam dan langsung dalam 15 menit bisa masuk ke dalam portal student. Yang mana student bisa membukanya, melihatnya kembali melalui laptop ataupun mobile. Ini adalah bagaimana cara membuka kembali, rewind kembali pelajaran yang sudah diketahui, yang sudah dipelajari sebelumnya. Jadi dengan adanya rewind system ini sangat bermanfaat untuk para siswa, sehingga bisa memaksimalkan pembelajaran di kelas. Oke. Jadi biasanya kita selalu menyarankan, jadi kalau student-student yang sedang ada di lecturing class, mereka tidak perlu mencatat. Jadi mereka tinggal konsentrasi saja kepada pembelajaran yang ada. Karena nanti at the end semua materi bisa dilihat kembali melalui rewind system. Oke. Salah satu fasilitas untuk Ph.D kita adalah kita juga memiliki beberapa center untuk research. Kita memiliki beberapa research center. Salah satu diantaranya adalah Center for Research and Innovation in Tourism atau CRIT. Kita juga memiliki Research Center for Future Learning. Kita juga memiliki Center for Data Science and Analytics. Jadi kita memiliki kurang lebih 3 untuk research center. Nah, berikut adalah Taylor Priority Area of Research. Kita memiliki Food Culture and Well-being, Sustainability Studies, Technology and Solution, Business and Governments, Inclusive Education, and Health and Pharmacy. Oke, sekarang untuk teman-teman yang tertarik untuk melanjutkan studi PhD Taylor, kita memiliki kurang lebih 13 program PhD, yang mana durasinya adalah 3 tahun. Student bisa selesai maksimum dengan durasi 6 tahun. Kita memiliki beberapa program, diantaranya adalah PhD untuk Hospitality and Tourism, PhD untuk Education, PhD untuk Media and Communication Studies, PhD untuk Business, PhD untuk Architecture, PhD in Computer Science, PhD in Engineering, Pharmaceutical Science, PhD untuk Science, Law, in Design Management, Food Studies, and Medical Science. Oke, ini yang paling menarik untuk teman-teman dari UPH ataupun uni lain yang ingin belajar PhD Taylor, kita memiliki online class. Jadi buat teman-teman yang mungkin saat ini ada pekerjaan seperti mengajar, itu tidak perlu khawatir untuk meninggalkan pekerjaannya. Karena pembelajaran bisa dilakukan full secara online selama 3 tahun. Jadi student tidak diharuskan untuk stay di Malaysia selama dengan durasi pembelajaran 3 tahun. Okay. Cuma hanya saja memang dibutuhkan untuk beberapa kali special occasion untuk datang ke Malaysia, seperti pengurusan visa, atau pada saat proposal defense, ataupun pada saat FIFA, seperti itu. Oke, bagaimana sih untuk teman-teman yang tertarik untuk apply PhD di Taylor? Oke, ini adalah beberapa step-nya. Untuk tahapan-tahapan apply PhD di Taylor itu memiliki ada kurang lebih 4 tahap. Yang mana idealnya adalah melakukan tahapan di awal itu baiknya itu minimumnya 4 bulan sebelum intake pembelajaran, ya. Karena tahapan ini dibagi menjadi 4, yaitu diantaranya adalah pre-admission stage, enrollment stage, visa application stage, dan terakhir registration stage. Seperti apa sih detailnya stage ini? Oke, saya akan sampaikan di slide berikutnya. Oke, untuk pre-admission stage, ini baiknya dilakukan 4 bulan sebelum commencement date atau sebelum intake ya, karena disinilah memang yang prosesnya agak sedikit lama. Karena di sini nanti salah satu itemnya adalah pengiriman dokumen, pengiriman proposal research, dan juga seleksi interview. Karena setiap kandidat pasti akan melalui proses interview oleh calon supervisor. Oke. Setelah dilakukannya pre-admission proses, jika lulus, baru nanti teman-teman yang mendaftar sudah bisa melakukan proses admission proses, yaitu pendaftaran dengan mensubmit dokumen tambahan. Oke, ini adalah dokumen yang dibutuhkan pada saat pre-admission stage. Pasport, S1 dan S2 academic certificate dan juga transkrip. Riset proposal, jadi untuk mendaftar di PhD di Taylor itu tidak dibutuhkan proposal yang sudah komplit. Tapi jika belum memiliki itu cukup hanya dengan menuliskan 300 esai saja. Ya, setelah itu bisa langsung disubmit, setelah itu CV dan juga application form. Setelah proses pre-admission selesai dan teman-teman dinyatakan lulus dan mendapatkan supervisor sesuai dengan jurusannya, baru nanti ke tahapan berikutnya adalah admission, yaitu enrollment stage. Di enrollment stage ini, dokumen tambahannya adalah seperti ini, IELTS, dan academic review report, dan juga employment verification. Dan tentu saja dengan membayar enrollment fee sebesar 2.800. Oke. Nah, ini untuk teman-teman yang tertarik ingin mengetahui expert yang ada di Taylor, teman-teman bisa membuka link ini. Ini adalah link website-nya Taylor. Bisa diklik ini. Oke, setelah klik ini, nanti akan keluar seperti ini. Ya, dari sini nanti tinggal dituliskan saja kira-kira tertarik untuk fakulti apa atau under school apa. Nanti setelah itu teman-teman bisa complete lalu isi dan nanti ini akan keluar. Jadi nanti akan terlihat kira-kira siapa saja sih expertise yang ada di Tailors. Let's say misalnya teman ada yang ingin tertarik untuk bisnis, setelah melihat expertise-nya maka tertarik misalnya untuk join untuk menjadikan menjadikan dokter site sebagai supervisor. Nah, itu nanti juga bisa dilakukan. Atau nanti juga teman-teman hanya tinggal mengirimkan saja nanti untuk proses supervisornya nanti akan Tailor yang membantu untuk semuanya. Oke, ini adalah contoh daripada expertise yang ada di Tailors. Oke, sekarang beralih kepada entry requirement untuk Ph.D. Oke, entry requirement untuk Ph.D. adalah salah satu yang paling terpenting adalah memiliki IELTS untuk akademik, nilai skornya adalah 6.0. Yang pasti sudah lulus master ataupun terdaftar sebagai master, terdaftar sebagai pelajar atau mengambil master program. Pada saat itu juga teman-teman bisa sekalian melanjutkan mengambil Ph.D. di Tailors. Oke, ini berikut adalah tuition fee untuk Ph.D. program yang ada di Tailors. Oke. Ini full tuition fee-nya yang mana dibagi menjadi 3 tahun. Oke, yang paling menarik adalah kita memberikan 50% scholarship untuk universitas yang menjadi partner Tailors. Oke, 50% ini adalah diberikan hanya kepada our university partner. Oke, untuk informasi lebih detailnya jika ada yang ingin bertanya, bisa langsung mengontak saya, ini nomor email dan alamat saya. Oke, saya juga akan sampaikan beberapa informasi mengenai akomodasi. Nah, ini adalah komplek perkampusan Tailors. Bisa dilihat dari sini. Ini adalah perkantoran, ini adalah on-campus accommodation, dan ini adalah gedung perkuliahan. Dengan luas bangunan, luas area ini adalah 27 hektar. Kita juga memiliki kerjasama dengan off-campus, ya. Ini adalah off-campus accommodation. Ini adalah apartemen. Kita memiliki 2 off-campus accommodation. Ini adalah contoh daripada fasilitas U-Resident kita. Salah satu akomodasi yang ada di dalam kampus. Oke, berikut ini adalah salah satu tampilan dari room hostel kita. Jadi di dalam kampus sendiri, Tailor memiliki 2 akomodasi on campus, yaitu U-Resident, yang satu lagi adalah room hostel. Konsepnya berbeda, kalau untuk U-Resident adalah konsepnya seperti apartemen, kalau room hostel konsepnya adalah seperti hotel. Ini adalah fasilitas yang kita miliki. Oke, ini adalah fasilitas untuk off-campus akomodasi, Dekasensa, dan juga Delator. Oke, untuk teman-teman yang masih ingin melihat Tailor dari sudut-sudut yang terkecil atau pengen menjajah lebih dalam lagi mengenai Tailor, teman-teman bisa men-scan barcode ini dan melakukan petualangan journey di kampus Tailor. Terima kasih semuanya, terima kasih. Saya kembalikan lagi kepada Ibu Sandra.
Right. Thank you so much, Ibu Ina Haryani. Even though you're still fasting now, but you're always in a full spirit, very energetic. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So it's very comprehensive explanation about Tailors University. Hopefully, there are a lot of interested participants. Yes. So for now, we have question and answer session. The question will be displayed on the screen. Yes. So wait for a moment. Okay, at first we have from Odilia Hana Santoso from Universitas Pelita Harapan. The question is how to attract the supervisor's interest on our research proposal so that they want to work with us and even offer a funding to do some collaboration on their project as well. Very good question, and perhaps Dr. Joachim or Dr. Shantini may answer that.
Okay, let's. I take the first question.
Yeah.
We alternate. Dr. Shanti can always compliment what I'm going to say and vice versa. So here we can treat the question on from two aspects. One is the demand is from the candidate, all right? So that means the candidate will come with a proposal, and the proposal have to be so unique that it will be attractive enough for the supervisor or for the institution. The second way is the demand is from the offerer, all right? So that means, so let's say I apply for a grant and I get X money with me, and I can sponsor 1 or 2 PhD students, then the demand will come from my side. So then only the candidate will be able to see whether they are able to fulfill the requirement or not from the expectations. So each project will have different aspects, different areas to be explored. That's why normally there is always 1, 2, or 3 PhD to be offered, because projects are multidisciplinary sometimes, and it can have the benefit of different type of PhDs. Be aware that a PhD is something extremely micro, because you go to something very, very deep in the knowledge. So, and everything can come from anything. Any topic can come from anything. If we just take the example of today, it could be very interesting to know why people are still clapping and why we are hearing claps when we end the presentation, for example. Is it something cultural? Is it something social? Is it something professional? All right, everybody will be right, everybody will be wrong, because the knowledge doesn't exist yet, right? So this is an example. Of course, it's not a topic for PhD, but this is a beginning of a reflection of a proposal, of thinking about something. So that's why the emerging trends are something we can foresee about what's going to happen. Now, we always base from experiences. That's why we have people called futurists. So then they can somehow predict what's going to happen based on data. So always refer to these kind of things, and the topic has to be so unique, or that either the person is attracted to the topic or the supervisor is attracted to the topic, right? So we really play, so the answer the questioning of how is mostly on how unique is the topic. And after the field of expertise, this one so if let's say you approach Dr. Shantini and then you provide a particular topic on hospitality and tourism, so the first thing she will look at is definitely on the uniqueness of the topic, how the proposal is being constructed. It's just the beginning of the PhD. It is not the end of the PhD. So we are not expecting a perfect work. We are not expecting actually any writing skills per se, but mostly on the conceptual understanding of what is a research. So we'll be exploring. So how to attract is really how the information are being provided and how the proposal is being provided to the candidate, okay, or to the institution, right? So that depending how we see the approach. Dr. Shantini, do you want to add something else?
Yes, I can. Okay, if you've spoken about the research proposal, I'd like to talk about the research funding. So if you intend to join or start your PhD through the research grants, then you need to be part of the network of researchers that hold grants. So that way you have to find a platform, or perhaps through your...
You're muted.
Yeah, sorry.
Perhaps...
perhaps through your own university, there could be professors who are involved with other professors from other universities in other countries as well. So you need to sort of set yourself up to be in that network of those professors who apply for research grants. So that's how you would build your relationships. Yes.
All right. Oh, thank you so much for the answer. Very crystal clear. And research is always closely related with funding. That's why it will be always our concern. Yes. Thank you so much. So let's move on to the next questions. Thank you, Odilia Hana Santoso, for the
Yes.
question.
Thank you, Adelia.
Yes, thank you, Adelia.
Yes. So it's coming from Johannes Octavianus from Tangerang. Any suggestions on what should be filled in the dissertation proposal? Very practical question, but we need answer for this. Thank you. Please go ahead, Dr. Joachim and Dr. Shantini.
Okay,
So
I
we
can
have
take
Dr.
this one.
Shantini for this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Johannes. So when it comes to your dissertation proposal, again, there are two ways you can go about it. You can look at if the institution is providing a template, right, or the school or the institution. So they might have specific areas that they want you to fill in, or you can do a generic dissertation proposal. So the generic one would be like something I presented. So that would be your proposed title, a little bit on the literature review, what gap is it, right? What context is your research is, so what is your contribution going to be to the body of knowledge? Some of the institutions might have a word count, okay, you might want to check and see, but I think typically 500 words should be enough. And of course, your proposed methodology also will help when it comes to writing your dissertation proposal.
All right.
If I can add something on
yes,
the...
Oh, yes, please, Dr. Joachim.
Thank you so much. So thank you, Johannes, for the question. I would just reflect on the what should be filled. Don't try to impress when you are writing a proposal. Don't try to talk about something that you don't master yet. Be aware that after the proposal, there will be an interview. So if during an interview you have no clue what you are talking about, you will spoil everything, right? So be simple in your approach, okay? A proposal is conceptual, so the proposal will help to understand, all right? To let us understand, when I say us, whatever institution, to understand actually what you are intending to do. Then the interview will be to dig a little bit more on your intentions. So be very careful. Be professional in your approach. Be humble in your approach. It's very important. So that's why how to try to impress is put everything in the writing and just know what you are talking about. So do a little bit more of reading when you do your proposal, and before the interview, make sure you know what you are talking about. So then your defense of proposal is very strong. Okay, so it will help.
It will be helpful for the answer. Yeah, so we have the clear picture now what to do in the dissertation proposal first. Any other question? Thank you so much, Johannes Octavianus. Yeah, so now it's from Kartika from Jakarta. How much variables that is good for PhD proposal and research? Can we use one variable only? Does a research should have a hypothesis? Well, okay, let's listen to Dr. Shantini and Dr. Joachim.
Okay, that's a good question, Kartika. I think this is a question that every PhD student is still asking, even those of us who have completed. So how many variables? If you're asking about variables for study, I take it you are talking about quantitative study, because qualitative is not so specific on variables. Okay, there is no rule of thumb of how much. One variable is not sufficient. You would need at least 4, I would think, three independent and at least 1 dependent. But even then, that's too basic. You would need to go back to what theory that you are using and how many variables this theory is advocating. And at PhD level, you can actually combine theories as well. So you can actually combine 2 or 3 theories for the area of research that you are looking at. I would generally, my view, right, this is just me speaking personally, I always advise my students, the more variables, the merrier. It's like a party. Why? Because sometimes when you do your data collection, one or two of your variables will fail you. And if this happens, you can remove them from your framework without harming all this work that you have done. If you do the minimum amount and something goes wrong, it can be a very painful experience. So, yeah, that's my typical advice. So, if you have about 6 or 7, again, look and see what the framework or the theory is looking at. Normally, it will be at PhD level, does it have to be a complex theory? Not particularly, but your examiners will expect a little bit more from you at this level compared to, undergraduate or even master's level. If you're asking about hypothesis, then of course you're talking about quantitative methods. So your hypothesis will grow from your framework, looking at the relationships in the framework itself, whether it's mediating or moderating variables. So yes, so one, definitely try to, look, like I say, the more the merrier.
It must be elaborated, I guess.
Yeah, because PhD level, there has to be a practical aspect as well, because data collection is going to be challenging. You may, depending on the research you do, you may need to find 300, 400 respondents. So, it's not easy to just do this one time. So you have to make sure that your variables are robust. And like I say, if anything goes wrong with any one of your variable doesn't meet the minimum required, especially for SEM. SEM, when you do your measurement model and your structural model, if you don't pass, one of it doesn't meet the minimum required, you need to start chucking out variables. So if you start with 13 and you end up with 10, that's wonderful.
All right. Anything to add, Dr. Joachim?
Okay. So just understand PhD that is a process, and so at the end of 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, I don't know how much time you have to do your PhD. At the end of the journey, you will be presenting an outcome. During the Viva, you are presenting the outcome, and the question will be about the reliability of this outcome. How truthful is the outcome? So there will be, the jury is here. That's why it takes 100,000 words, 80,000 words, because a PhD is about explaining again and again and again to whatever you have done to ensure of this trust and ethics in research that has been conducted throughout the journey. So it's your methodology, your data collection. So analysis, everything is fully related. So how many variables? There is no answer. It will depend your framework, what you are intending to search. And if suddenly you may have an idea at the beginning. So that's why in your proposal, don't come out with a new framework that comes from nowhere. Unless you have already done publication, you know what you're talking about, you have foundations, then of course your proposal can be much stronger. If you don't have those information, then just stay humble, use existing models and existing theories to support your proposal. Later, when you do your methodology, you will be exploring your variables. How many? It will depend what you want to search. It will depend your objectives and it will depend your intentions. And all this will be carried out throughout your PhD and explained in your methodology. Right? So don't focus on the end product yet because you haven't started yet, and the proposal is just the beginning of an idea of what's going to be a PhD. Like what Dr. Shanti mentioned in a presentation earlier, your title will change one day before submission. All right, it's normal, all right, because it's alive and it changes through time. And trust me that after 3 years, your introduction doesn't have the same meaning. So you will go and start changing your introduction, and then suddenly you feel like, oh, I didn't talk about that, and you start adding another chapter and so on and so on, and it's never ending. That's why you have a supervisor to tell you, please stop and present. Okay.
Okay, I do agree with you, Dr. Joachim and Dr. Shantini. Very good feedback. And then the last question will be coming from Evelyn Yasinda from Universitas Pelita Harapan. Do you have any advice regarding the difficult nature of obtaining primary data, especially during the pandemic? Face-to-face contact with viable sources of information becomes more difficult. And do you have any inputs on how to effectively perform reliable research during the pandemic? Yes. Good question, Evelyn. Thank you so much. It's yours to be answered, Dr. Shantini and Dr. Joachim.
Whose turn is it?
Okay, perhaps Shantini first. Ladies first.
So is the
No problem.
I'm not so sure if thank you, Evelyn, for asking this question. I'm not so sure if Evelyn started a PhD or research already, because she's talking about primary data. So maybe she already undertook the PhD and doing some collection of data. Are we talking about quantitative or qualitative type of research? I'm not so sure.
Yes.
That's why the question is a bit complex. I'm not so sure how to answer and providing right information.
Shall we do both? We can do.
We can try to do both.
Okay. I think maybe I would do it from the say qualitative point of view. I suppose with the pandemic, it's not easy to be distributing surveys, but there are so many social media tools that you can use nowadays to reach out to your respondents. And by using, let's say, if you're using qualitative and you need to interview people, right? Depending on the type of respondents, let's say you're looking for working adults, right? So working adults, you can use either, you need to interview working adults, so you can start with the snowballing method, for example. So I assume if you are working, then you can start with your colleagues, and then you can ask your colleagues to recommend other colleagues. Interviews can be done via video that you can record on your phone, right? Or even using a Zoom platform. And normally for qualitative interviews, it goes up to saturation, right? So there is no specific number. But if you use the snowball method, then you are able to snowball your number of respondents using face-to-face, but online tools such as your phone or the Zoom platform. So that's one way.
Yeah. After, it depends what type of data you are collecting. So if, let's say, you need to observe, to be a participant in your observation, so then you have a direct contact with the people doing something. Let's say you are observing a new phenomenon, you want to observe learning attitudes, you want to look at certain behaviors of clients in a restaurant during this COVID or crisis. So that means you need to go to a restaurant, you need to sit down, you need to look around what's happening. You need to go to a classroom to look at the student, you need to observe your own student. So it depends what kind of data we are talking about. So there are some, so need to see is how important is the data right now? Can it be delayed a little bit, or you must have the data collection right now? So those are different type of questions. Can you start working already on improving the methodology and then the literature review and introduction, and then delay a little bit your data collection, so then you don't waste too much time? Is there a way to spread in time the data collection, right? So to observe this at this moment, then waiting another 2 weeks to observe something else. So to adapt to a different schedule according to the data that needs to be collected. So from a qualitative point of view, yeah, it might be complicated. Now, if it's an interview, I mean, look at us. I'm sitting in my house right now in Malaysia, and I'm not so sure where you are exactly. Most probably at home or in office or in a restaurant. I'm not so sure. And the interaction is still happening. So interview doesn't matter. So is it difficult to obtain the data? I'm not so sure. From the entire last year, many of our master students, it's recorded, but never mind. So they took pandemic as an excuse to limit their data collection, all right? It's a reality, yes, of course, there is less workforce, there is less people, there is hotels are closed and so on. But not all the hotels were closed, not all the people were fired, not all the top managers that were still holding their position. So interview was still possible. It's much more complicated. It takes more time to achieve it, but it's not impossible, right? And so it's always important to look at what exactly I need to know, I need to collect, right? And this is your methodology. What kind of data I need to have, so then I will find the best way to collect them. So if I was aiming to get general managers, right? But then, okay, I cannot. So what is the alternative, right? If I get some CEO, if I get some managers of restaurant, if I get directors of a certain institution, is the data collected will be within the scope of the research or not? Right, so need to look at what kind of alternative is possible. If it's quantitative, then there are plenty of different methods, right? I mean, today with internet is, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's much easier, right? So I believe if 100 years ago would have been much more complicated to collect data than today, because there is no internet, right? So a lot of things are still possible, and don't take limitation as an opportunity, and see actually how you can even have better outcome of your study. Now, okay, you are in Indonesia, you want to do a study about Malaysia. Okay, it's complicated. Okay, you cannot go to Malaysia. So that means someone need to go and collect the data on your behalf, right? Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Is it ethical? Yes, it's ethical. But is the person collecting the data will collect the same data as if you were collecting it? Maybe not. So there is a question mark here, and you have to address that it's as part of the limitation of your study. Does that mean you cannot graduate? No. Right? It's a limitation because you try to overcome an issue and you find a solution. Right? So it's really a lot of critical thinking, right, being involved in the research. So yes, of course, it is difficult, and this is why there is a supervisor, 1, 2, or 3. They are here to help and not to find solution, but propose alternatives and propose ideas of what can be done. Be aware that you are the owner of your own PhD. It is your work. It is not your supervisor work. So yes, but always better to listen to the person, but it is your work. So at the end, it's you make the final decision, and you have to defend those decisions towards the end, not your supervisor. Right? A supervisor, we're not entitled to talk during the viva. Right? So we just listen and smile. Right?
All right.
So effectively, so the right? So Evelyn is talking about reliability. So reliability will be on your methodology, how reliable and trustworthy you are in your collection of data. Right? This is the reliability. Right? So it's a professional point of view, not a personal one.
I'd like to add a little bit as well. Nowadays, with so much of information overload, you find that a lot of us are suffering from what I call questionnaire fatigue. We receive so many links to surveys from our Facebook, from our Instagram, from our office email. You see, sometimes we feel like doing it, sometimes we don't. So to be, again, I'm a bit more practical in this aspect. From the day that you start your PhD itself, start building your relationship and your networks. if you're doing, let's say, on human resource, okay, or human capital development, look at the hotel industry, right? Join a society, or perhaps there's a NGO involved. If you're looking at tourism conservation, join a tourism conservation society, because we are more willing, I mean, we are social beings, we are more willing to help our friends rather than a stranger. If a stranger came to me with a survey, yeah, I may or may not have time. I have my child is crying. I have bills to pay. But if a friend came to me, I would definitely make time for my friend. Okay, so from day one itself, build these relationships, especially if you're doing it in industries where they just receive so many of these surveys: manufacturing, hospitality, directors of human resources in any company. I think every month they get 10, 15 surveys asking for responses. So you, on your part, you have about a year or two before your data collection. So start making friends, start contributing to the industry that you are investigating. It will pay off in the long run. Don't just suddenly wake up today and then tomorrow I want to do data collection. I need 350 respondents. It's like, oh, where? Right? Okay, and also get your friends to help you as well. I mean, please, I'm talking about professional acquaintances in the industry. Yeah.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for the spot on advice. Very important to build network. I do agree with all of you. And then that's all question and answer session. Allow me to conclude everything. Yeah, from the research proposal and the research proposal, you have to do the emerging trends, and then to make it unique, yeah, to get easier to get research granted. And then as well as the conceptual understanding must be there, not just one variable, of course. Of course, you need more than one. And then, of course, don't get into the questionnaire fatigue, yeah, because we all of us needs to, spread the questionnaire. And the way to build the professional relationship is exactly the one that Dr. Shantine explained, yeah. And then I guess we have learned a lot today. Thank you so much for sharing your precious knowledge for all of us, Dr. Joachim and Dr. Shantini. We do appreciate it, yeah, and we need to clap because it's a cultural. We need to clap, of course, virtually and in reality. Yes, okay. And then now let me give the stage to Dr. Joachim for the closing speech. Thank you.
All right, so I just have to say thank you, right? I really wanted to say a big thank you to Miss Ina Ariani for making this happen. Okay, wonderful person. Okay, very dynamic, right? So thank you so much for linking us to UPH School of Hospitality and Tourism. Big thank you to the organizer. I see that there is a crew affected to this event. So and I was trying to count, but it's too many, right? So that means there are a lot of students or people involved here. So very impressive organization. So thank you very much to the organizing team. Thank you very much to the moderator. Okay, you did a wonderful job.
You're most welcome.
Definitely big thank you to my colleague, Dr. Shantini, always supporting to do other things despite a very busy schedule. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Big thank you for the special thank you to the 4 persons that asked the question, and thank you to everyone for listening. I hope you were listening and you grabbed some ideas here. This is one of the limitations of virtual talks and webinars. We don't know what the audience is doing, but anyway, in the real life also, when you have an auditorium and you see people on their phone or sleeping or eating, but it's a reality, whether it's virtual or not, it's still happening. So big thank you right, to everyone. This was a great pleasure for us to share. Be careful, whatever we say is not one reality, okay? We believe in realities. So it is something that we wanted to share. Now it's not the final word, it's not the unique knowledge that exists in the world. Everybody is different, so everybody will have more or less different type of answers. But I really, truly hope that everybody will get some knowledge and some ideas of what to do. In case some of you or all of you wish to join the PhD, so in case some of you are very interested to join the PhD under the school, so myself or Dr. Shantini might be your supervisor one day, or not, we might be our colleagues, but it will be a very big pleasure to get to know you, and we'll be there to support you until completion. Right? So again, thank you so much, everybody.
All right.
And have a great, for those who are celebrating Ramadan, of course.
Yes.
Wishing you a wonderful Ramadan month.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Joachim. Yeah, let's give him a big applause as well. Yes. So now for the closing remarks as well as the presenting the e-certificate, let me introduce you to Dr. Amelda Prameswari, our head of the hospitality management. Please, Dr. Amelda.
Thank you, Ma'am Sandra. Thank you so much. Well, this is kind of our culture too. We would like to extend our appreciation, our big thanks, especially to both speakers, Dr. Joachim and also Dr. Shantini, for giving us your time, especially to enrich us with your new insights, especially for research in the hospitality and tourism area during this pandemic situation, which is very inspirational. And we would therefore like to present you with the certificate of appreciation. Can the committee show us the certificate of appreciation? All right, let's give a big applause to Dr. Joachim Miguel Diaz Suiro for delivering the virtual class today, for being our speakers. Thank you so much, Dr. Joachim, for your time. Thank you. And the next certificate, we would like to present it to Dr. Shantini.
Thank you.
Give an applause to Dr. Shantini. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Shantini, for being the speaker in our virtual session this afternoon. So may we continue our cooperation. Perhaps in the future we can do a joint research, right, Dr. Shantini and also Dr. Joachim? We really look forward
anytime.
to that. For UPH and also for Taylor's University to work together in the tourism and hospitality area. All right, thank you so much for your time. I give it back to Ma'am Sandra.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Amelda. Yeah, we're looking forward to have a collaboration, more collaboration, and continuous one. Yes, and now let me give to the MC because now is the photo session for all of us. Please turn on the camera and the MC, Mr. Agung, will lead us in the photo session.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Sandra, for being the moderator for today, and also to Ma'am Ames for the closing remarks. We sure hope that today's masterclass has given new inspiration and insights, or hopefully even rekindle that spirit in starting and writing your PhD proposal and research. All right, before we close the event, let us take a picture together. May I ask all the attendees to turn on your cameras and prepare your best smiles. Okay, at the moment, I'm only seeing 6 people who've turned on. Okay, I have to flip the page to turn on to see everyone. Okay, very well. We've got quite a few people today. 91 people participating in today's event. It's quite a few. Okay, the photo session itself will be conducted by Vincent. And Vincent, the stage is yours.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Vincent Zius as a documentation for today. Today we have 4 pages. Please give your best smile. I will start from page 1. 1, 2, 3. Page 2. 1, 2, 3. Page 3. 1, 2, 3. Page 4. 1, 2, 3. Alright, thank you all your participant in photo session. Now I will give back to the master ceremony, Pak Agung. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. Okay, for further information regarding the Pelita Harapan School of Hospitality and Tourism, you can follow us on Facebook and YouTube at Fakultas Pariwisata UPH, and also follow us on Instagram and TikTok at uph.faculty of tourism. So don't miss out on joining our following talk shows series with even more interesting topics and discussions. Not to forget, at Universitas Pelita Harapan, we also offer a Master of Tourism program with hybrid learning. And this way, you will be able to get your master's degree in between your daily activities. And for those of you who are interested, you may contact us to the number as seen on your screens. If there has been any shortcomings or mistakes from today's masterclass, I, as the MC, would like to offer my sincerest apologies. And once again, I wish to thank the Pelita Harapan School of Hospitality and Tourism and Taylor's University, Malaysia, along with all the distinguished speakers and attendees in today's masterclass. And we will see you next time on our next event. Bye-bye.